This video will demonstrate how to make a PlayPosit video quiz in Blackboard. I have enabled the student preview mode, and this is a screen very similar to what you should see. The first thing I will do is navigate to the assignment submission folder, where I have created a link to demonstrate how to do this. Let me scroll down to the bottom, and here you should see a link that says Learner Made Bulb. In this case, this is for a quiz over the distinction and the difference between primary versus secondary sources. So the first thing that you would need to do would be to click on the link, and it takes just a moment for the link to load. And here we have a short set of directions that say, create your own PlayPosit quiz highlighting key elements of and the distinction between primary versus secondary sources. We have right underneath that an action bulb, or an action length rather, that says create bulb. So this is the very next thing that we need to click. Once you've clicked on the link, you should see a screen that looks like this. The very first thing we need to do is we need to navigate to and find the specific video around which we will build the quiz. In this example, we'll use that short video called Understanding Primary versus Secondary Sources. So to do that, we'll click on the YouTube link and we'll do a quick search for that. So I will just type in a key phrase here, primary versus secondary sources, and I'll hit enter. And then I will scroll and look for the appropriate video. Now, because I've already seen this video a number of times, I happen to know that it is the one that is 2 minutes and 54 seconds. So let me find that one. And it should be this one right here. Okay, so this is the video that we are looking for. I will go down here and click Done to select it. And the bulb has successfully been updated, and I have chosen the appropriate video. Now, if I wanted to, and I may ask you to do this later, there may be circumstances or times where I ask you to include more than one video in a single PlayPosit video quiz, but in this case, we're just going to work with just the one short, less than 3 minute video. Now, I have a number of things that I can choose to do. I can click on Add Interaction if I wanted to add something at the very beginning before students watched the video. I could also choose a variety of templates. So notice over here this little icon says Apply an Interaction Template. If I were to click on this, I would see a series of choices, and I could choose any one of those, or I could choose no template at all. And if you choose no template at all, you'll simply watch the video as you normally would, choose the appropriate places where you would like to add either an interaction or a question, and then you'll select and choose the question type and create the answer choices if it is a closed-ended question type like a multiple choice or a check all that apply. So let me just demonstrate this here just for a moment. So if I were creating this quiz, the first thing I would do after creating the bulb and after navigating to and selecting the appropriate video, then I would need to play the video and watch a portion of it and choose the first place that I would like to have a question appear in. So let me just click that and play a little bit of the video, and then I will show you how to add an interaction.
The content of your research project will be made up of primary and secondary sources. Primary and secondary sources come in many different formats, and there are benefits for referencing both types in your assignment. It can be difficult to figure out if a source is considered primary or secondary, but don't worry because we'll explain the differences here so that you can decide which are best to use in your assignment. Primary sources are first-hand accounts of an event, topic, or historical time period. Anything that contains original information on a topic is considered a primary source.
Okay, that seems like a pretty good place for a question, so I have stopped the video there. So if I'm choosing to add a question right there, I'm just going to take my cursor and click on the blue bar that says add an interaction at 36 seconds. And then notice that I have been taken to the question editor and I'm given a series of choices. I can either choose multiple choice, free response, a poll question, check all that apply, fill in the blank, or discussion. Additional options include a reflective pause, and this would be a good thing if there were something that you wanted to say, if there were something that you wanted other students to know or to keep in mind. This would be an opportunity for you to kind of force a pause in the video, but where you get to type in something that you want them to read. A web embed is if you have something from the internet that you want to embed into the PlayPosit quiz, and so this is a neat thing to do if there's like another video that you would want students to watch, if there is a link to a website that you would like students to visit. This is another non-graded interaction that you could force by choosing this in the question editor. Then there are a couple of additional templates that are available that you could choose. You could choose vocabulary matching, table of contents. If you had items that you wanted them to place in order, you could do that as well. If any of your math professors happen to use PlayPosit, there are function tables and math symbols that they could use to build question stems, and you could as well. So let's say for a moment that I wanted to include a multiple choice question. So I would choose that, and then where it says enter question here, that's where I would type the question, and then obviously where it says answer, this is where you type the answer. Now for multiple choice, you do need to indicate, which response is the correct answer, and you would do so by clicking on the circle next to the correct answer. And you can add as many answer choices as you happen to need. I do recommend that for multiple choice you have at least 4. That's kind of the standard number that we tend to see on multiple choice quizzes. And then over here next to the setting wheel, notice that you have the option to add feedback. You have the option to add a jump as well. I often like to use the add feedback feature so that especially on answer choices that are incorrect, you can type up something meaningful for students to read and look at to kind of reinforce or to remind them what the correct answer is or why the answer that they chose may not be the correct one. All right. Now, if you end up deciding that you don't want to choose multiple choice, you can go up here at any point and you can change the question type. Check all that apply is a great question type if there are more than one if there's more than one answer to a particular question. So in the place where I stopped the video, I happen to know that coming up in the video there will be a listing of common types of primary sources. So that might be a great place after this question type to enter one for a check all that apply. And in that case, I could enter examples of primary sources and examples of secondary sources and ask students to check all the ones that are examples of primary sources. So that will kind of test whether they can tell the difference between the two. Now, the free response question type allows you to ask an open-ended question that would require that question to be graded by hand. So this would not be something where the quiz program would grade this by hand or grade it automatically, but it would rather be something that whoever's grading the quiz would have to grade by hand. But this is what this is really great for, is that when you have these free responses, it forces people to explain in their own words. And this is one of the most powerful ways to remember, learn, and apply things, is if you have to explain it clearly and concisely in your own words. And once again, you can also go over here and you can add feedback, so that, let's say you might be concerned that one or more students might type a response that could be incorrect. Well, that can certainly be marked during the grading phase, but that doesn't give them any constructive feedback as to, what might have been missing or incorrect in their answer response. So this would be an opportunity for you here in the add feedback, if you asked an open-ended question, for you to type a sample response, so that regardless of whatever a student ended up typing as an answer response, they would get to see and read a correct response to the question before they moved on to the next question type. So this is what you do anytime you need to make a PlayPosit video quiz. You click on the link that I provide you in Blackboard, and then you go into the question editor, and you first select the video that you're building the quiz around, and then you go through and you watch the video, and you select appropriate places throughout the video to ask questions, check for understanding, and to encourage learner engagement with the video, so that students can apply and remember the concepts that the quiz covers. Okay, so that's it. That's how to make a PlayPosit video quiz in Blackboard.